Well, it is one absolute hell of a final and a worthy champion again. Tariq Patel is somebody that is on your radar now, not quite reaching the peak until now. And what a stage to get your first big win.
What a time to reach the peak. What a time to hit that pinnacle moment in the national championships. The U.S. national championships have completely concluded.
Hold on a second. We're just getting some word from space. I hear it's coming directly from space. That's right. We're not done with Flesh and Blood action.
You thought we were done, but Red Zone Rogue literally now moves stuff for us.
Just
He's
like
done
that.
commentating, and now we're at the calling. Welcome to the calling, everyone. Congratulations. We're here.
What's amazing is that it is still in Orlando, surprisingly.
Well, we had to pick everything up and move it really fast. We're going to jump right into the match. They're currently going on right now, and it's a good one. Look at this. Joel versus Michael. We've got Oldhim versus Briar in the finals.
Here we go, and just take a look again. We are already knee-deep into this one. The calling in Orlando was also taking place at the same time as the U.S. Nationals, friends, and Joel versus Michael Hamilton here. 18-12, and it is Briar versus Oldham. Big Papa Oldham finally making some headway here.
I just want to point out the wonderful use of Winter's Whale. I love Winter's Whale.
Yes.
Crown of Seeds is one of my favorite legendaries of all time because of what it does, how powerful it is. It rivals the use of Arcanite Skullcap, and that is why we see it in play for Oldham. And Oldham, of course, doing his thing where he blocks.
I mean, he's going to do that. He's just going to say, he's going to, brush it off, dust it off a little bit. Things are just going to be hitting off his chest a little bit. Look at him. He is a mountain of a man.
Oh, look, it's my favorite play. You're going to pitch a blue ice card, and you're going to swing 4. Swinging 4 with the last card in hand, and by the way, swinging 4, and if it hits, you get to have a Frostbite. It's going to make your next, activated ability or card that you play cost 1 extra.
Yeah, the next thing you do essentially is a 1-point tax on top of it, right? So Winter's Whale, again, a fantastic weapon here, a majestic rarity for Oldham. And the brilliance of this, like you said, you pitch 1 blue. If it's an ice card, you're coming in for 4. That awkward number, the one that Briar loves to swing with. But this one has the added effect. If that blue is ice, it's coming in with that extra frost tax. And basically the strategy that Oldham is likely employing here is block out as much as you can, keep 1 blue, swing in, make it awkward.
That is exactly correct. And he's just going to take it. He's going to say, I need my cards in hand. I can probably deal with this Frostbite token, but what I can't deal with is losing cards from hand and not applying some amount of pressure. And Oldham's like, you know what? You can go ahead and try to apply your pressure. I will just play cards blocking from hand, defense reaction. Maybe I'll pitch and use my defense reaction ability and block 2 or force more cards from your hand.
Also wearing the Null Rune boots here to sort of stop a little bit of that arcane damage sneaking through. But again, Crown of Seeds, like you mentioned, rivaling Arcanite Skullcap in terms of the damage mitigation. It can just go on and on and on.
And not only that, if you have a card in Arsenal, you can tuck that card in Arsenal, on your opponent's turn as an instant and stop arcane damage. So technically, he's playing with like an Arcane Barrier 2 kind of an effect.
Right. And that is exceptionally useful, especially with, like we said, Rosetta Thorn is a nasty, nasty little piece of equipment that is going to be swinging in. But we're going to start with Sting of Sorcery, and that's going to pair up nicely with a Yellow Ball Lightning.
Yeah. Sting into Yellow Ball Lightning means that Ball Lightning is going to send 1 point of Arcane, and that 1 point would replace with 2 if accepted.
So the question
and it looks like it will.
Yeah, so that went through. And it's going to poke through as we see Michael Hamilton's life total now dropping to 14. And Ball Lightning in itself is a little tricky piece as well.
Ooh, hey, blocking with a Command and Conquer saying, I don't want to take that damage. Let's go ahead and block it.
Tunic pitched. Rosetta Thorn, all of the criteria has been met here, so it's going to be a 2-2, and so beautifully represented here by Joel with 2 physical, 2 arcane, but like you mentioned, with the crown and the boots, there is a way to mitigate this.
This is true. 22 damage, that does not represent. Instead, it's 2-2, and how do you want to deal with it as Oldham? You may accept some of the arcane. You may just say, you know what, I want to keep the Arsenal card, and I can maybe block out a little bit of the physical damage, either with a card from hand or with the 2 block that's left on equipment. But what I really want to do is keep a card because I think I can pressure my opponent back here.
Michael now at 10. Again, the Command and Conquer was out of the equation. Let's see what the response is here for Michael. Maybe he's actually got an attack, or maybe it's just another blue pitch ice.
Oh, no, it is not. It is Oh my gosh. Is he going to fuse this? He's got to pay 4 for this. This was from Arsenal, so he was set up, and this is why he didn't Crown of Seeds, because and there he does pitch a Channel Lake Frigid. By the way, a fantastic card in this matchup, but coming in with Endless Winter, not fused, perhaps just coming across for the standard damage.
And the standard damage in this case, like we said, Guardians swing, and they swing hard. And in this case, it's going to be something to think about if you're Joel, because look at the equipment. The equipment is spent. You do have Snapdragon Scalers. That doesn't block. And you've got a Tunic, which blocks for 1. But Joel has to be thinking here that essentially the Snapdragon Scaler, the Tunic is going to come in. So that is an 8 attack off the Endless Winter. And no fusion, though. Yeah,
no fusion, so you don't really have to worry about that effect. But if it hits until the end of their next turn, whenever they activated ability, they just get Frostbite tokens. And this is very scary. This is not really where you want to be. If your deck wants to play a lot of cards, you're going to have just a real bad time if Endless Winter hits.
I mean, we don't really have bad times when we play Flesh and Blood, unless you're playing against Oldham that really wants to make you have a bad time sometimes. Taxing you with Frostbite, coming in with Winter's Wail, making the game just last longer than you may want it to. And what's worth noting here is I believe that in these top 8 brackets, there is no time limits. So these can go as long as Papa Oldham needs it to be.
Yeah, so if this connects, then Endless Winter is going to basically create this game state where it gets really cold, really snowy, and, using Grasp of the Arknight or activating Snapdragon Scalers, because those are activating abilities, those will create Frostbite tokens in those moments. So a little bit tricky, a little bit tough.
Yeah, that's a tough one to actually digest in this case. I mean, let's be real here. You want a situation here where the embodiment of Earth tokens is a little bit more than you see here, because those non-attacks are blocking for 6, but that's 7. So here we go, full block.
Yeah, we're in the end game now. We're choosing to block with the Tunic. This is the moment where you throw the Tunic out and you hope it protects you, and try to avoid the Endless Winter effect, because you do need to put something together.
That was I believe that was everything was blocked. There's 1 card left for Joel here and an Arsenal, but we've seen what can occur here with Briar. If that is, for instance, like a Plunder Run, there it is.
If it's a Plunder Run into anything, and that's a Ball Lightning, the only card in his hand that couldn't block. So Ball Lightning is going to come across for 4, 2 off of the Plunder Run and 2 off of its own effect. A great breakpoint, as we've seen time and time again, that this 0-cost Briar wants to push.
I feel like, 4 is such, like you mentioned, a breakpoint, an awkward number, something that it's a 2-instance block, 2 pieces outside of a defense reaction typically to block, but not for Oldham. I think Oldham is so well equipped to be able to deal with it in a myriad of ways. And in this case, we're just going to go with the Tectonic Plating and 1 instance of Enlightened Strike. And you know what? If you're just tossing an Enlightened Strike like that for defense, what else is in your hand that has that kind of power? Yeah,
well, you have a 3-card hand, and you have an Arsenal as well. So there's a real shot that you've got something insane put together here. He's going to make a Seismic Surge, float 2 resources. He is then going to play a Spinal Crush, pitching the Cold Foil Pulse of Eisenloft to do so, which, by the way, is incidentally a fantastic defensive card.
It's just looking so nice. Again, another ice card, blue pitch as well. These are cards that are so helpful with the overall strategy here of just block, 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 pitch blue ice, Winter's Wail, but not in this case. Finally, a Spinal Crush coming in for 9. Crush effects are going to come through if there's 4 or more damage that actually makes its way.
And it's another absolutely backbreaking card up against exactly this matchup, because Briar just feeds on go again, right? And if this crushes, that absolutely destroys the turn. So not where you want to be as Joel. You want to be playing, you want to be aggressively attacking with multiple cards. You don't want to be trying to throw them out and blocking, and you certainly don't want to be stuck with a bunch of 0 block cards in hand.
Yeah, there is a nightmare scenario sometimes when these big attacks come through and your whole hand is something like Lightning Presses or Ball Lightnings, cards that are really just sitting there and staring you in the face, or God forbid, a Gorganian Tome, one of those cards that really are just laughing at you while the damage is soaking through. So Joel just doing a little bit of inventory, taking a look at what's in the graveyard, what he's got left here. But this is, like you mentioned, this is a very difficult play to come through. And not only that, there is a Seismic Surge. So the next attack that's going to come through is coming in at a discount.
Yeah, triple block here, probably checking how many actual threats he has left in his deck. We can't actually get a good read on the deck size overall. overall. We know that we came into this, midway through this entire turn. He's going to make the block, but it looks like he took damage and probably took to a certain degree where he didn't actually activate that crush effect. He's going to make a rune chant and come across with the Rosetta Thorn. Also known as Rosetta Stone, depending on who you ask.
Yeah, I mean, I just found out. Apparently, there's you know how there's like alternate art cards. There's also alternate name cards.
Could be.
Yes, that is a that is a Tannin Grace. That is going to sort of follow him around for a little while. But Rune Chant with Rosetta Thorn. I mean, the best you can do. Blue Pitch, so is hung on to there. So if you want to go through with as much damage as possible, this is the tricky way to do it. Again, the arcane is going to be need to be dealt with.
This is the point where it's actually, depending on your arsenal, of course, it's actually great to use Crown of Seeds because that would prevent an arcane damage and it would still keep a card in play for you because while you cycle a card out of arsenal, you actually draw a card as well. So Crown of Seeds is a really effective way of stopping something like arcane damage.
Looks like Oldham, Michael Hamilton really likes his hand, and he's going to go ahead. The Seismic Surge token is activated. We're pitching a Tear Asunder blue pitch, so we've got 3 resources floating around, and the next attack that comes through is going to have...
Oh, does he have the Dominated Glacial Footsteps? He does. This could just be it. A Dominated Glacial Footsteps could just finish the game right here. So he fuses the Glacial Footsteps. This is coming for 8 with Dominate. Now, depending on the cards in hand, it could just be over.
Oh, I see a Lightning Press in there. A lot of 2 blocks. This is going to be 8 with Dominate.
He needs something that blocks more than 3, and I don't think he has the ability to do it because he doesn't have any Embodiment of Earth tokens. He might just win it right here off of a Dominated. Oh my gosh, how crazy would it be to see a Dominated Glacial Footsteps just like in the... and he shows it. He does format, just like in Limited. Dominated Glacial Footsteps gives Oldham that victory.
Beautiful play by Michael Hamilton. Patience does pay off in this case, Armada, and honestly, the dream ending to any Limited game is how this one finished up. And fantastic play here by Michael Hamilton, the winner of the Calling in Orlando on Oldham. Fantastically done. Amazing game altogether. All right, so we are just waiting up here for the winner, Michael Hamilton, coming through to go ahead and be presented with the trophy, the 2021 champion of the Calling Orlando. Oh, man, this is absolutely, I don't want to say it's stunning because we've seen how well Oldham has performed in the Limited format. But, seeing Oldham in Constructed is in itself a fantastic and elegant way to play the game.
Oh, thank you.
Got to get hooked up here and put everything in. But honestly, so... going into this format, you see you're here at the Calling. You had to go through the grind and get to today. The choice of playing Oldham is, I don't want to say it's unorthodox. We've seen how it has done before, but playing it in Classic Constructed is a very unique choice because fatigue it takes a mental state. How do you sort of manage to get through these long grindy games in a meta that really games are just going so fast and nobody's blocking?
Yeah. You just block.
Let's be fair. I mean, everybody's out there. Everybody's just taking it on the chin, and you're out there saying, no. I'll see you on turn 15 or 16.
Mm-hmm.
So the Winter's Whale strategy here, for everybody, finishing it, you drop your last hand. Your opponent comes at you, a rune chant, a little damage here and there. You're looking at your hand. How are you feeling knowing that you could just finish this out, barring some minor miracle with a Dominated Glacial Footsteps?
It felt great. It was a couple turns before that. When I played the Spinal Crush, I'm like, this is it. This is the turning point of the game. It's very likely I win from here. And then after that, I was just going through the motions because I don't want to say it was decided, but it was very unlikely for my opponent to come back from that point. Once Briar blocks, most of her cards block for 2, and she didn't have the Tunic anymore.
Yeah, no Tunic, no Embodiment of Earth tokens to sort of save the day. It must have been feeling like green light. You come in, the momentum's changed in that regard. This is such a game of momentum shifts, but for Oldham, a lot of it is patience. How hard is it to look at your hand and say, I could just swing back with this, but having the patience and the presence of mind to say, all right, we'll block, we'll wait it out, and then you find your moment. I mean, does that take practice,
Yeah, so leading up to the Calling Cincinnati, I played a ton of the limited format. We played a bunch of sealed, and I played Oldhim and sealed a lot in practicing. And I kept making the mistake of taking hits and swinging back, taking hits and swinging back. And I'd lose all those games because I wasn't just blocking
Right.
enough. And learning that lesson in sealed made it a lot easier to pick it up the deck and construct it and just be like, okay, I need a block. I need one card to swing Winter's Wail
Right.
and block with everything else. And if they have a really threatening on-hit trigger, maybe I even block my whole hand and I don't get this attack at all.
And that's fine. And look, it seems like it has worked out for you here at the Calling in Orlando. This is the champion, Michael Hamilton. Before we present you with the trophy, any shout-outs, anyone you want to thank, anyone, practice partners, anything?
Shout-outs to my buddy Roger Bodie. He encouraged me to get this last-minute flight out because we decided Wednesday that we were going to fly out here.
Okay, so wait, hold on a second. Let's just rewind here. This was like literally 48 hours before you decided to come and just actually start playing. Okay. What was his name again?
Roger Bodie.
Roger Bodie?
He's right there.
Roger Bodie? Part of this, like this little tip here of the trophy is for you, my man. But this is it, the winner, the champion of the Calling in Orlando, Michael Hamilton. Congratulations, my friend. This is for you. And again, the first year here of Flesh and Blood competitive play, the Callings, the U.S. Nats, has been fantastic. We've had champions galore here, ProQuest Callings, ultimately culminated with the winner of the U.S. Nationals, Tariq Patel, and Michael Hamilton here, the winner of the Calling in Orlando. So thank you so much, everyone, the judges, the viewers, you guys out there, Channel Fireball, and, of course, LSS, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you very soon for more Flesh and Blood.